The smell came before the realization. I was at the stove, stirring chicken noodle soup, Landon's favorite, the only thing he'd eat on Tuesdays after physical therapy when the burner wouldn't light. Click, nothing. I turned the knob again. That's when the faint sulfur smell hit me. Gas. My stomach dropped. The pilot light was out. Somewhere in the house, gas was leaking freely. The main shut-off valve was in the basement. I needed to shut it off immediately. Landon was in the living room, in his wheelchair, watching television. I calculated quickly. Stop the gas first, then get him out. I could carry him if I had to. I moved toward the basement stairs, and then I heard it. Footsteps, not the mechanical hum of a wheelchair, not the creak of assisted movement. Footsteps, running. I froze. A blur rushed past me, arms pumping, feet hitting the stairs 2 at a time. Landon, my stepson. The boy who hadn't walked in 4 years, he vanished into the basement. I heard metal screech as the valve turned. Then silence, 11 seconds. That's how long it took for 4 years of lies to collapse. He came back up slowly, like gravity had finally remembered him. His face was white. His legs strong, steady, fully functional, carried him up each step until he stood in front of me. "Meredith," he said, voice cracking, "I can explain, please." I couldn't speak. I just stared at his legs. At the child I had bathed, lifted, massaged nightly to prevent blood clots. The child I had reorganized my entire life around. For years, I finally whispered. He collapsed to his knees. It was Dad's idea. He sobbed. Always Dad's idea. I wanted to tell you every day. I was scared. He said we'd go to prison. He said you'd hate me. For 4 years, my husband and my stepson had let me believe a lie. I'm Meredith Holloway. I'm 44 years old. I've worked for 12 years as a registered nurse in pediatric rehabilitation at Emory University Hospital. I specialize in spinal cord injuries. I know paralysis. I know muscle atrophy patterns, pressure sores, loss of tone. I knew, some part of me always knew, we live or lived, in Marietta, Georgia, quiet street, safe neighborhood. I bought the house with my husband, Garrett, 6 years ago, shortly after we married. It was my first real marriage at 38, after spending most of my adult life caring for my mother. My mother had multiple sclerosis. I became her caretaker at 19. I learned injections, catheter care, flare-up warning signs. I gave up dates, opportunities, and years of my life. When she died, she left me a letter. Don't let caring for others stop you from living. Find someone who cares for you back. I thought Garrett was that person. I met him at church months after my mother died. He was charming, kind, wounded. He told me his wife had abandoned him and their son. He spoke about sacrifice, about raising Landon alone. I recognized that pain. I trusted it. We married 6 months later. Landon was 13. Healthy, quiet, sweet, we bonded. We played basketball, rode bikes, baked cakes. I was happy. Then came the accident. Garrett told me Landon had crashed the car. Doctors said T4 complete spinal cord injury, permanent paralysis. I believed them. Why wouldn't I? Disability payments started almost immediately, $2, $847 a month. Garrett said it was for equipment, therapy, house modifications. I spent $47,000 of my mother's inheritance making the house accessible. Another $23,000 on specialized medical equipment. Garrett handled the therapy appointments. He discouraged me from attending. Privacy, he said. For 4 years, I trusted him. There were signs. Landon's legs never atrophied the way they should have. Garrett said therapy was working. Genetics, exceptional retention. Once, I dropped an ice pack on Landon's foot. He flinched instantly. He said it was phantom sensation. Money went missing, always for medical expenses. At night, I heard footsteps. Garrett said they were spasms. My best friend, DeSana, warned me. She said Landon's legs looked too healthy. I got defensive. We didn't speak for months. The night of the gas leak, after Landon ran, I called her. She didn't gloat. She just said, "You need a private investigator." Her name was Carmen Delgado. Carmen Delgado had spent 18 years with the FBI investigating fraud. She didn't flinch when I told her everything. 3 weeks later, she handed me a report that destroyed what was left of my marriage. There had been no spinal injury, no Dr. Theodore Whitmore, no clinic. The accident had been minor. The medical records were forged. $136,656 in disability fraud. Most of the money was gone, spent on gambling, failed crypto schemes, and a woman named Tricia Maxwell. Garrett had an affair. He'd used my mother's inheritance to fund it. Tricia didn't know I existed. She thought Garrett was divorced. She thought Landon was at a special boarding school. Federal charges were inevitable. Landon agreed to testify. When I confronted Garrett, I laid everything out calmly. He tried to explain. I told him the FBI would arrive in 20 minutes. Landon walked into the room on his feet. The agents arrived. Garrett was arrested. 6 months later, he pled guilty to multiple counts of federal disability fraud. He was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison and ordered to repay every dollar. The judge told him he hadn't just stolen money. He'd stolen years from his son and trust from a woman who gave him everything. Landon received community service and mandatory therapy. The divorce was swift. I kept the house, most of the assets. Garrett left with debt, prison time, and nothing else. 14 months later, my life is quiet. The wheelchair ramps are gone. Landon's room is now a yoga studio. I was promoted to rehab unit supervisor. I adopted a 7-year-old golden retriever named Atlas. Too old, they said, unwanted. Perfect, I said. Therapy helped me understand something fundamental. I had spent my life caring for others. No one had ever cared for me. I'm learning now. Landon wrote me a letter. He's in community college, studying physical therapy. I haven't responded yet. I kept the letter. I saw Garrett once at Target. He looked smaller, worn, ashamed. I smiled and kept walking. Some people fake paralysis. Others paralyze their own futures. And some of us learn to walk again. Not with our legs, but with our lives.